In today's video, we're taking a look at Neural4D, and this video is sponsored by Neural4D. They reached out to us to try their platform, and since we already make a lot of 3D printing content, the idea of creating 3D models without needing traditional 3D modeling experience sounded like a really interesting fit. We're mainly going to focus on two features, text to 3D and image to 3D. With text to 3D, we can type out an idea, like a small planter, desk accessory, or decorative object, and see what kind of model Neural4D creates. Then with image to 3D, we can upload a reference image or sketch and see how well it turns that into a usable 3D model. We're approaching this as new users, so we want to see how easy the platform is, what the results look like, and whether these models could actually be useful for 3D printing. Before we jump in, we just want to say thank you to everyone who has subscribed and supported the channel. It really does help us keep testing new tools, new machines, and new workflows. And if you're new here, we make a lot of 3D printing, laser engraving, UV printing, and DIY project content. So consider subscribing if that sounds like something you're into. Also, don't forget to like the video and leave a comment with what you'd like to see us try next. For our first project, we wanted to see how well Neural4D could handle a regular image that we already had in our camera roll. Nothing fancy, no special reference image, no sketch, no perfect product photo, just a picture of a lighthouse that we took on a recent trip. The goal here is to keep this first run extremely simple and see what the platform does with the image mostly on its own. So we're going to import the image, increase the mesh quality to extra high, and then click Generate. And while that is generating, let's quickly take a look at how Neural4D's pricing and credits work. From what we can see, Neural4D has a few different subscription options depending on how often you plan to use it. The weekly option looks like the easiest way to test the platform for a short amount of time without committing to a longer plan. Then there's the monthly plan, which makes more sense if you're planning to generate models more regularly, test different prompts, or use it for multiple projects. And then there's the annual plan, which is usually positioned as the better value if you already know this is something you'll be using long-term. Each plan appears to give you a set amount of credits or power that can be used to generate models, and those credits are basically what gets spent when you create something. But what's nice is that it also looks like you don't have to rely only on a subscription. There's also a separate option to simply buy extra credits. So if you just want to test a few more generations or you run out of credits in the middle of a project, you can top up without necessarily changing your whole plan. Now with that covered, let's jump back over and see what Neural4D was able to create from our lighthouse photo. As the model starts generating, you can actually see it begin to take shape little by little. First, we start seeing a rough outline of the model appear, and then as it keeps processing, more of the detail starts filling in. After about 2 to 3 minutes, we end up with our very first completed model. And honestly, that was really cool to see. We were genuinely surprised by how much detail it was able to pull from just a single photo, especially in the overall shape and even some of the texture. For a first try, and with such a simple setup, it gave us something that already looked really interesting and gave us a much better idea of what this platform could be useful for. And that immediately got us thinking, what could you actually do with something like this? If you've been around our channel for a while, you may remember the projects where we used a UV laser to engrave a Benchy and even an angel inside a crystal block. Seeing this result, we can totally imagine using Neural4D to help create object files from places we visited, landmarks we photographed, or even personal travel memories that we want to turn into something physical. Instead of starting from scratch and trying to model something by hand, this could be a really interesting way to take a photo and turn it into a file that could be used for engraving, crystal work, or maybe even 3D printing. It definitely opens up some fun possibilities, especially for more custom or meaningful projects. But with that first image to 3D test complete, next up we wanted to switch things over and try creating a model using the text to 3D feature. We typed in a prompt to generate a simple geometric cactus pot, with the plan of 3D printing it and using it to replant one of our small cactuses. For this test, we decided to create 2 different versions and then pick our favorite one to print. After just a few minutes, we had 2 brand new 3D models ready to look at. Now, the first version ended up generating a pot with a handle, which wasn't really what we were going for. It still looked interesting, but for this project, we wanted something that felt more like a clean little planter. The second version was exactly what we had in mind. It had that simple geometric look, a nice open cavity for the plant, and a shape that should work really well as a small desktop cactus pot. So from here, we'll get the model imported into our 3D printing software, check the size, make sure the walls look thick enough, and then send it over to the printer. This is a great example of how text to 3D can be used for simple home decor or custom art pieces. But I think it could be even more useful for people with resin printers. If you're creating small figurines, themed decorations, tabletop pieces, or little custom characters, being able to generate a model from a prompt could save a ton of time, especially if you already have a specific theme or style in mind. Finally, we have this image of a blue angel that we took the last time we went to an air show. For this one, we wanted to use the image to explore a few of the other options that Neural4D has to offer, and once again, we were honestly blown away by the quality of the model it created. Even though Label 4D only had a reference image from one side of the plane, it was still able to mirror the design and generate a full 3D model. That part was really cool to see, especially because planes have such a recognizable shape, and if the proportions are off, you would notice right away. There are also a few different viewing options you can switch between. You can view the model with lighting and shadows, turn off the texture, or even switch over to a wireframe view, which makes it a lot easier to see the contours and overall shape of the model. We also noticed an option for text to texture, so we wanted to try creating a completely new color scheme. We selected our already generated model and asked Neural4D to turn it into a red plane with black accents. Neural4D did most of the work for us, but we did notice that some of the text and small details on the texture looked a little scrambled. Luckily, the texture can still be edited, so what we can do is open that texture image inside photo editing software, remove or clean up any elements we don't want, and then save the updated file. Once it's saved, the model automatically updates with the cleaned up texture. So that brings us to the end of our first impressions of Neural4D. Overall, we think this could be a really helpful tool for a lot of creators, especially if you want to quickly turn photos or prompts into 3D models. But we want to hear from you. What do you think about Neural4D? Let us know in the comments and start your comment with Blue Angel so we know you watched until the end. Thanks for watching and stay creative.